to do that again.
Okay.
There you go.
Hi everybody, welcome to Three Rivers Avian Center's first virtual tour. We hope you bear with us. We're new to doing this. If you've got any questions, Ron is our cameraman and he will read those questions out. So feel free to ask him as you go along. So we're going to give you a full tour of the facility and we're going to do some fun stuff with Jim. He's got some birding tips and tricks, and he's also got a couple of things he wants to show us on the nature trail. So we're going to run all this together. So let's go in. Okay, this is our exam room. When we have patients come in, this is where they start out, of course. We can do everything up to minor surgeries in here. Our root surgeries are done actually over at Animal Care Associates, Good Shepherd Veterinary Hospital, and All Creatures Veterinary Clinic are the three most biggest ones that we use for our operations and such. But this is where our treatments are. This is where birds get checked in. And so if you, we normally, for those of you that have been here on a tour before, we usually have our great horned owl ambassador sitting up here on her perch and our American kestrel ambassador over there. But we decided to let them sit in their cages today away from here. They're up in a different part of the facility. So we are going to actually, when we finish doing the tours here, you'll see two posts that will come up on Facebook that will give you time with Gimli and Hooli separately. So they get their own little special spot. Okay, should we go outside?
Yeah, sure.
So what were the dings?
Somebody wants to know how to do this.
How to do what?
I don't know, the message flashed by, I didn't get a chance to really see it.
Okay, like I said, we're new at this, so hang on a minute while we figure this out. All right, whoever asked that question, could you ask it again, please? We can't figure out where it went. All right. It is hummingbird season, and I did want to bring this up quickly to everybody. Please remember, when you're mixing up your hummingbird food, do not put red dye in it. The hummingbird's kidneys cannot process it, and they actually end up shutting down the kidneys slowly over time. So please don't put red dye in it. Some of it, you can buy it sometimes commercially, mixed up before you are ready, and it's already got dye in it. Please don't use it. Please don't. They'll sell anything, right? So all you need is 1 cup of water and a 1/4 cup of white cane sugar. Don't make any substitutions, especially with honey, because that will kill the birds. But use a 1/4 cup of white cane sugar and 1 cup of water. That's all you need for hummingbird food. They get most of their protein and their calories and stuff from eating tiny little bugs. So this is a supplement. This is a thing that they enjoy to come in like getting an ice cream. So don't give them bad stuff. We're going to start here, and this is our Screech Owl ambassador's cage. And if you're very careful looking around, you'll see a little tiny Screech Owl sitting back there in the back. He's a little gray guy. If you've been watching the Facebook page, you will know that this is Marmot, and he's getting into a big Screech Owl now. So he's been catching cicadas in here. Felix is here, but he's inside the box that has the turquoise little box at the bottom of it. That's his favorite box, and he's sleeping right now. But Marmot seems to be interested in being up and out and running around outside. You can hear Regis. Marmot's story is very interesting. Lisa Wood found him. He actually was rolling down a slope, and she right to her feet when he was just barely covered in down. And she was able to get him to us. And we first had him being raised by our very elderly Screech Owl, Rudy, who was a red morph Screech Owl. And she was doing a terrific job, but unfortunately old age did catch up with her. And after about a week, I think it was, she passed away. Still taking care of him, and so we put Felix in with him, and these guys have now become buddies. They'll actually call to each other, hang out together, and he's turning into a perfect screech owl. It won't be long until he goes free.
I want to try to get him in the light a little bit better. There. That bird's only about 5 inches tall.
He won't get any bigger. He'll just, you know, get a little less down on him.
Love the yellow eyes.
Yeah.
All right.
And here we have Max. Max is a broad-winged hawk. This is a male. And he has, the left wing is his issue there. Some people found him when he was just a baby, just a year old, not even a few months old. And they decided they were going to heal up his broken wing by themselves. So they just bound it up, and then several weeks later when they took the bandage off, not only did the wing not extend, it's locked into position. So he's non-flighted. He's now about 3 years old. You can see he's starting to get the dark upper part of his hood that we call, that goes from the shoulders up across the top of the head. Broadwings are great migrators. They come up here in the springtime and leave usually about the middle of September. You usually start seeing them up here around April. And they migrate all the way down to Guatemala, Brazil, and Peru in the fall. And if you are interested, we work closely with Hanging Rock Raptor Observatory over there near Zenith. And you can hike up to the tower up there during migration and help them with the migration counts that they do for raptors. It's been going on for over 30 years, and it's a continual data stream that's been going on. One of the longest running ones actually in the U.S. But you can literally see hundreds and hundreds of broadwings go by during their migration. And here we have Robbie and Riffle.
And we're getting the other side here.
Yeah. Get where you want to go?
Yeah. I can get both of them in at one time here.
Okay. The one on the hutch there is Robbie. She's our old lady. She's 25 years old. She was found outside Craigsville when she was just a chick. She'd fallen out of her den tree, and she had a concussion, but the people that picked her up and tried to keep her didn't realize that. So they just put her on the back porch, and everybody loved on her and, you know, thought she was cool. So she ended up being what we call a human imprint. As her eyes focused, instead of focusing on mom and dad of her own species, they focused on the people who picked her up and took her home. So she identifies with humans. You may notice that she sort of keeps her head moving bit by bit. That's because she has permanent brain damage from when she fell down out of the nest tree. And this is another case. If we'd gotten this bird when it was found, Robbie could have been healed up and going out like a normal barred owl. But instead, that's not her option. And now she's so old, she has cataracts. And she's quite old for a barred owl. They only live to be about 25, 26, somewhere in there. And she's 25. But she's going strong. And up here on the perch is Riffle. Riffle is much younger. He's 4 years old. He was actually a victim of the big floods that we had that hit Clendenin and so many other places really badly. And he was actually hit by a rescue vehicle going in with supplies to some of the inhabitants. And it went what should I do? About what?
What should I do? Yeah. About what?
Tell me what, send that again, because we don't know what you said. We're learning this too. So if you're watching Facebook Live and you want to make a comment, you will see down at the bottom of your screen, which is roughly right underneath Riffle's tail, you'll see a little little comment box. And so I'm going to hit that and see if that shows our comments. Nope, that tells you to write. So if you want to write a comment, that's what you do. You hit that little little speech bubble, and then you can type it in, and then we will see it come across our screen, and we can answer it, I hope. So I hope that answers your question. We'll go back to Riffle here. Anyway, so he sustained a dislocated elbow as he was hit, so he's not fully flighted, but he and Robbie hang out together really, really well. Barred owls are probably one of the most common of all the owls that we have here in West Virginia, and Robbie's been making those nice little very common barred owl calls.
There she goes. She kind of puffs up her neck like a pouch to build up like pressure to make those hoots.
Well, you'll also see as she moves those feathers up underneath her beak, her lower beak. And that's just as if you were cupping your hands around your mouth to shout at somebody to make your voice a little bit louder and make it more clear. But you'll find barred owls in woodlands and suburban areas. They eat a lot of mice and rodents. They eat also what we call juicy bugs in the summertime, grasshoppers, cicadas, katydids. And they'll also go after minnows and stuff. So they're pretty broad-based in their food preferences. They raise about 4 chicks per year, and they stay together with the chicks until they're about September or so.
Go, Robbie.
Yay, Dobby Doo. And this is Harlan. And he is a dark morph red-tailed hawk. They're very unusual in this part of the state. Normally you see these more out west. But he was actually the first one that was documented here in West Virginia. He was coming through on migration, on his first migration, about 24, 25 years ago. And he hit a utility line that wrecked the nerves in his elbow, made his wings stick out straight in front of him. So he was tripping over it. So he actually has an amputated right wing, right at the elbow. When he first came in, we weren't sure what we had because red-tailed hawks have several different morphs that they have, different subspecies almost. And there's a Harlan's hawk, which is dark colored like he is, only the tail is usually a muddy white. When we got Harlan in, he was still a juvenile. He didn't have his adult tail. Red tails only get their adult tails when they're 2 years old. Up until then, the tail is brown and black. So he had a brown and black tail, and we had to wait to find out what he had, you know. So we named him Harlan just in case. And so no matter what, he's still Harlan.
It would have been nice to have a Harlan's hawk, but he's a great surrogate. When we get red-tailed hawk chicks, he's a good dad. And even though he's in his 20s now, he's a good surrogate parent.
He weighs a little over 2 pounds.
That's kind of small for a red tail.
Well, no, that's the male.
Yeah, he's being a male.
Males are smaller. Females can get up to over 3 pounds.
Oh, he's hiding.
Oh, let me go get little Dory Doo out.
Our peregrine is hiding. He's shy. You can see we have indoor-outdoor spaces for these birds. These indoor rooms stay open most of the year until it gets really, really cold, so that they can get into the shade. Oh, he just popped out. There he is.
Is he out there?
Yeah, he just popped out, but he's hiding in the corner of his little spot there. There he is. He's a very gentle bird, a really sweet-natured creature. trying to get a slightly different angle here. Let's do this. There. Oh, now we ran and hit again.
Ah. Sit down. Sit down.
Oh, the noise is this guy over here. Our red tail is trying to get our attention. I think he wants fed.
Hi. Did you just come out again?
Yeah, he popped out the second he heard you come through the door. Sorry about that. Apparently my finger hit a button.
Again, this is a male.
I'm gonna have to go in there to get a good picture of him.
Well,
I can't see him. He's so in the dark. He's not showing up.
well, I can open the doors for you. What are you doing? So, okay, let's go in. Let's look at Ryan here real quick. Ryan's not too sure about that there stick thing.
No, he doesn't know about this camera. I'm a little nervous. I'll go over here.
Ryan is a 4-year-old male red-tailed hawk. This is the typical way you see a red tail. There's that pretty brick red tail for you. He was found on the interstate near Elkview, Kanawha County. He had evidently been scavenging the roads for a while. He had broken his wing and had healed wrong in the wild. You'll see how it sort of droops on the side towards us. And he had been scavenging the road. So he's partially flighted, but he's not really good at it. He can't go much further than the length of this cage. So he's with us for the rest of his life. Their favorite foods are rabbits, snakes, and squirrels. That's the big bulk of it. Lots of mice and chipmunks as well. Red tails are very, very intelligent. And they also use tools. We were watching a red tail fly across the New River several years ago, and he had a snake in his talons that he hadn't killed. And the snake didn't want to go across the river. He wanted to go back and do what he was supposed to be doing. And so he was twisting around and making life very hard for the hawk to carry him. So the hawk flew back across the river to where there was a rock sticking up, and it just swooped down, smacked the head of the snake against the rock, which killed the snake or stunned it enough to make it so the snake stopped moving, and he took it on the way he was originally headed. Ryan here is now 4 years old. He'll live to be somewhere around 26 to 28. Something like that. He's a little bit bigger than Harlan is, but not too much.
He's a handsome red tail.
Well, what did you do that for, Dory?
Dory's out.
I don't know if anybody saw that, but he just did a high dive into his water bowl. Popped back out of it. There's your shot in the sunshine.
Yeah.
Hey, Dory. Did you talk about peregrines?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you were doing that while I was shooing him back.
No. Here, you can. Now that he's decided to maybe stay out. There we go. Okay, Dory is a male peregrine falcon. Females look just like this. They're significantly larger though, but the plumage is identical, male and female. And did he just disappear again? No, there he is.
There.
Well, he's really good at just vanishing, and the camera doesn't pick him up that well. He came out of the nest that's in the New River Gorge Bridge. He was just learning to fly. He's a fledgling, and he he collided either with the bridge or with a car or something, but he was found at the bottom of the bridge.
With a shattered elbow.
Yeah, with a ruined elbow. So he's
non-flighted.
Yeah, he's completely non-flighted. We tried to fix it, but there was no fixing it.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to get it to focus. There we go. The light in that corner is really...
He knows it too.
Difficult. There he is. Anyway, he's a very gentle bird. They're bird hunters primarily, although they'll eat rodents and smaller mammals. But their primary food is other birds. And when they do hunt, their technique is to get above their prey in the sky and dive on them and pluck them out of the air. And when they do this, they can routinely push 200 miles an hour, which makes them the fastest animal on the planet. Of course, you run out of space in a big hurry moving that fast, but if you ever get to see it, it's really spectacular. They don't live very long. Most peregrines, in fact, over 9 out of 10 of them don't even reach breeding age, which is 3. After that, they do a lot better. And by then, they've learned all the things they need to know about being a peregrine falcon, like high-speed diving and not crashing. And
can't hardly. You see more of the door.
Yeah, well, I can't really make them out.
Do you want to go inside where you can
Yeah,
see
let me do that.
And that way they can see the inside of the room too.
Yeah, let me do that.
He left his meal at the door set.
Yeah. Hey, Shorty. How you doing?
Do you have your phone on you?
I do.
Why don't you get onto the Facebook thing? I'll hold this.
This is excellent. Just looking in.
Says, I'm not too sure about that stick thing. I'm not too sure. There we are. Hi, Dory. Hi, Dory Doo. What a good boy. You can see how big the toes are on this. These are bird hunting toes. You can see they have little knobbies on the bottom of the toes. That's for actually holding on to the body of a bird, because they're the feathers are so slick. It's very hard for them to, if they didn't have those extra little nobules, to grip onto a bird to carry it off. Females are about a third larger. Dory here is right around 28 ounces. Females can be up to 32, 36, somewhere in there. Yeah, it looks like he bent a feather. We're going to have to help him out with that a little bit. Thanks, Dory. And this is an area of the hospital that people don't generally get to see. This is the working part of the hospital. And as I show you up the hallway here, the doors on the left are wards, the hospital wards, and the doors on the right are the indoor-outdoor rooms, like what you just saw coming in through with Dory. And you can see in here, this is behind Ryan. It's really hard to focus on this. Like I said, we're learning here, so. I don't know if you heard that, but that's it. She would like us to feed her and change her water bowl, which is what we're going to do. This is the Songbird Ward. And there you go. Now you're better. Now you can see what we're looking at. Okay, and this is looking out on Robbie and Riffle. So this is their indoor room. If they want to go in and get cooled off. It's cooler in the building. That's why we set up the way we do. So they can come in and out as they choose. And let's see if we can get a little bit closer look at Marmette while we're in the hospital here. Hey, Marmette. Hi. There you are. What a good boy. How are you? He says, I'm getting kind of big. Screech owls don't live a long time. They live to be about 10 years old, maybe a little bit older. And that's the sound of he's aggravated with me. Oh, Felix moved from that box. There's Felix. Felix says, I'm trying to sleep. Hey, sorry. And there's actually a frog. There you go. Has it wrong way. We've actually put a small bullfrog in the pond here. Since bullfrogs cause quite a bit of problems here and there. We try to not have any here. But this bullfrog showed up today. And he's a good size for the screech owl to start learning to chase around. But right now, Marmette has been loving having all the cicadas he can eat. And there's our songbird room again. We have Raptor Ward. And we have what we call the water room. And this is where we rehabilitate herons, we'll rehabilitate kingfishers, water-based birds. And if we have an eagle, they're going to be in this cage here because it's so much bigger, more easy for them to move around. It's actually 4 feet by 3 feet. And we have a shower built in here because that really helps clean everybody off now and then. Plus it acts as another cage when we need it. And now we're going to go out and see where Ron is.
Ron is attempting to watch you, but I can't see it. I don't even get one bar here.
Ron's phone is not working as well as we would wish. Okay, shall we let's go see Regis.
Yeah. You have a key on you for the platform?
There's Jim Phillips. So hi, Jim. We'll be over there in a minute. Yeah.
All right.
And Regis was taking it easy back in his room. We have shade cloth that we're going to put up over top of his cage to give him some shade. We used to have big trees here, big ash trees. He had a beautifully shaded cage up until last year when the trees died and started dropping all sorts of branches everywhere. Most people only get to see Regis from this angle or on the glove, but we're going to go inside. There we go. And here we are in Regis's cage. He has a nest here that he really likes. And windows, perches, mats on the floor. And there he is, the man himself. Hey, Big Bird. Hi, we're gonna come see you. And he has 2 water bowls. He has one for bathing in, this big blue one, and he has a little one for drinking out of. She seems to prefer to do it that way. Hi, buddy. Hi. And you can see that he is molting. You'll see feathers on the ground here. Please don't ask for feathers. We can't give them to you. But Regis broke his wing in the wild. It healed wrong in the wild. And so he can't extend his wing to fly. So on this towards me. Hi, guy. Yeah, what a good boy. Hi. Nice of you to show off. He weighs just under 10 pounds. And he's telling me that this is his perch, which I agree, it definitely is his perch. Hi. So there's his drinking water. And his favorite perch, it has stained the green paint. Where would we paint that? Probably this summer. Okay, so we've got a flight barn now, I think, is next. Oh, by the way, Regis was hatched out in 2008. He'll live to be somewhere around 35 to 40 years old. Now, bald eagles didn't used to be in West Virginia. We saw them out on the Ohio and up on the Potomac rivers in the eastern panhandle there, but they weren't in the main part of the state because we just didn't have the habitat. So in, what was it, 1940s and 50s, we started building dams. Well, that gave us the habitat that we wanted to have large fish and waterfowl that they needed. But at the same time, we started using DDT. And DDT wiped out a lot of populations of birds, but the bald eagle, was, being the national symbol, was probably the most famous. We stopped using DDT in 1972, and gradually, with a lot of conservation work from individuals all the way up to federal government level, we now have the bald eagle is now no longer on the endangered species list. He came off in August of 2006. And here we're going into the flight barn. The flight barn, wait a minute, let me get in. The flight barn is the last stage of rehabilitation before a bird goes back out. This is a place that we do not normally let people come see, but since we're virtual, we can do it. So we are now walking into what we call the flyway, the Continual Flyway. This is a 12-foot wide, 12-foot high, big circle around a center section that you see here that section has 3 rooms. So this is one continual loop that goes around. And we'll go inside to the 3 rooms. Do you think the barred owls are out, Ron? Yeah. We have 2 juvenile barred owls and an adult barred owl that are out here in the flyway. But sometimes they go back into the room 2. We'll show you room 2. So this is room 2. But they like this hutch. That's where the youngsters grew up. So this is room 2. It's a 20-foot by 20-foot room, and it's 12 feet high, I think. Oh, there's one of our juvies. Hi, little guy. Let me see if I can zoom in for you. There you are.
The dove is flying around behind you.
Okay. You can still see he's got baby fuzz. His facial ruff is just starting to come in. I'm trying to hold this stick still. Did he fly? Did you see this one fly?
No, this one's just sitting there.
Okay. Now one of them comes from Wayne County. One of the little ones comes from Wayne County. And he had broken... he had a hole. So he had been predated, and there was a hole in the patagium part of his wing, which is the web part of his wing. It would help if I'd hold this thing still, wouldn't it? I'm sorry if I'm getting everybody seasick. So we've been healing that wing up, and he is now flighted. He's doing pretty well. The other of the 2 juvies is from Summers County. The tree was felled by some folks that were working on the utility line. And so we ended up with 2 chicks from that, and only one of them made it. Oh, there's the adult. Let's see if we can get the adult for you. Where is he? There he is. Kind of looks like boards with feathers, right? Let me see if I can get underneath him a little better. And this one comes from Raleigh County. And the backlighting is really messing with the focus and stuff on this, but he comes from Raleigh County. He had a very mild concussion. Hi! So he healed up from that pretty quickly, but we needed an adult to parent the babies. So we kept him back just a little longer. And I can't find him. Sorry if I'm making everybody seasick.
You're probably zoomed in.
Huh?
I think you're zoomed in.
Yeah, I am. But still, there he is. Found him. Still can't see him. There you go. And back over here. Hi. The other two owlets are doing really well now, so we're going to be able to go ahead and let him go home, hopefully this next week. We may send him back with the babies too if we get both of them flying. Okay, now we're going to go into room 1, which is resting right now. It's in between patients. Room 1 is sort of our go-to for screech owls and the larger songbirds. And you can see we have recently had a mourning dove in here that was a victim of a cat attack. Healed up and went home. Okay. And then we get to go into room 3. This room is 20 feet by 20 feet, same as room 2. But room 3 is actually 40 feet by 20 feet. And this one has, there you are, a great horned owl. This guy, look at him go. Yeah, it helps to have that out of the way. There you go. This guy's wing was a mess when we got him. He actually comes from Rennell. The wing had multiple fractures of both the radius and the ulna, but they were lined up pretty well. So we put him in limited range of motion cage for 4 weeks, and he came out to the flight barn 2 weeks ago to room 1, and now he's here in room 2, and he is flying just fine and would like to go home. So we're going to honor his request. He actually goes home tomorrow, and he will be released roughly right around 4 o'clock tomorrow, right back where he was found. And I hope the crows that are harassing him already moved on. When we were talking about room 1, we mentioned that larger songbirds could go in that room, along with screech owls and smaller other birds along that line, green herons, that sort of thing. Now we're back in the flyway here. But we have one other flight cage we don't really show people, and we're going to take you out there. It's specifically for songbirds.
You want to go to the inside or the outside?
Let's go to the outside. We're already here at the door. You notice that every door has a double door entry, with the exception of Regis's, because we couldn't get one together there. And that's for security for the birds. So that if you have a bird that's flying, you don't want to have it beat you out the door if it's not ready to go. So here we go along here. If you look at this construction of the flyway, you'll notice that there's, of course, you have the metal, vinyl coated metal mesh on the outside to keep predators out. But then we have screening in here, in between, and then lattice work. And that keeps the birds' feathers in good condition, so if they hang on the wall, they don't break them. And it also gives them a good sense of security. Now this is our songbird cage. This year the squirrels seem to like to be chewing on it. See if I can zoom back out. There we go. Keep forgetting about the zoom. I'm sorry, folks. But this is our songbird cage. It has helped us with many, 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 many songbirds. We take in anywhere from 200 to 250 patients a year, everything from hummingbirds to eagles, as long as it's non-game species. So this is the songbird flight cage. And the latest bird that was in here was a horned lark. So this is what it looks like. Let's see if I can back out a little bit more. We've had woodpeckers in here, we've had bluebirds in here, we've had flickers in here. And you can see that there's sort of an antechamber here, a sheltered area where we can put perches and food and stuff like that. Keep it out of the weather. But here again, have the same structure as we do on the flight barn, where you have wire mesh and then you have screening right here. And we put the screening on the inside for these guys because they need it more to protect their feathers. The flight barn, it's bigger birds, so we flipped the sequence. But here for the little ones, we wanted to make sure that they were good and safe. And this is, of course, metal screening. It's no vinyl screening here. It's a nice little habitat. And there's the back of the flight barn right there. So now, let's go see Jim. And Jim Phillips has been volunteering with us for years, and he retired from Pipestem State Park as their naturalist a few years back, and he's been kind enough to help head up our research arm. He's in charge of keeping us all lined up for eagle surveys and peregrine counts, and he goes up to Hanging Rock and helps them out too.
Hey Jim, what you got? Got bugs crawling all over. That's all right, they're bird food. They're bird food, right? They're bird food.
They're bird food, yeah, cicadas. So Jim, how do you do?
Doing fine. Glad to be here. Beautiful afternoon on Brooks Mountain.
It is a beautiful, muggy afternoon.
You can almost hear the birds singing above the insects, but still, that's good. It's nice. We'll talk to your folks about bird identification and different guides that help with birding and how to bird watch, and hopefully take care of any questions they might have, and maybe get some folks enthused and excited about becoming bird watchers.
That would be really cool. I've heard that a lot more people are bird watching than ever have before because everybody's been at home.
Yeah, my wife and I have been calling it social distancing because we're a wingspan of a turkey vulture apart. So that fits in just perfect right now, and it's something you can do. One person, a couple people, there are lots of groups around you can join. Of course, now the groups aren't meeting and doing that.
Right.
They're dropping down into one or two people to go out and bird watch, and most of the time the areas are public areas that are open and easy to get to. And although with closing of parks, it's been kind of tough. You have to watch it. But I spend usually an hour, 2 hours every morning sitting on my porch watching.
Nice.
That's the nice thing about bird watching. Anybody can do it. You can do it anywhere you are. You get better birds maybe in a forest than you do in a big city, but you can do it anywhere you want, and you put any amount of effort you want into it. As long as your time allows and whatever expense you want to do. I think I'll start with talking about basic bird identification.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you for just a second because I just got a notice that I'm at 15% on my battery.
Okay.
So I was wondering if you would go with us back into the hospital so we can charge this, but at the same time, I was hoping you and Ron could discuss working with ravens, because we need to do a little bit of help for that raven, and we can do that while we charge the phone. Is that okay with you?
That's fine with me. You want me to leave this stuff?
Yeah, just leave the stuff there. Yeah, we'll come back out here. It's a nice spot.
Shade is welcome on the raven.
Yeah. So we're going to go back in the hospital, and you're going to see us do a little bit of what we do behind the scenes. The raven that we were talking about earlier is due for a bandage change and check the surgical area. She had a badly broken wing. Dr. Strite down at All Creatures Veterinary Hospital in Princeton was able to pin it, but it's going to take her a while because that was a bad break. So we're checking it today, and she's got a few more days that she has to keep it in a sling.
Beautiful bird.
Go ahead, Jim.
There's plenty of room for my guys.
There is, isn't there? Oh no, a cicada upside down on the water.
Rescue him.
There you go, buddy. Female. She's not empty.
Not to get top of
I couldn't hear you, Jim. What? You gonna go get the raven? Okay. Jim, I'm gonna let you have the honors here on this. What you see is what you get. Hold on to it and, you know, show the audience what we're doing.
Oh, okay.
So, this tells you how many people are watching at the moment.
Have to put my glasses on to see that.
Let me get the stuff out I need. If you want to bring that over here, actually I'll bring this over that way. And if you want to come over this way, we can charge the phone at the same time.
Where's Ron going to be?
He's going to be here.
Okay.
We're both going to be here. So we're going to put the charger on, in theory. There you go. And that's the sound of a raven that doesn't like what's happening. We were talking about getting this bird in, and somebody messaged me about how can you tell the difference between a crow and a raven. And one of our followers, people on Facebook, said, well, if it's a bird with a beak, then a crow. If it's a beak with a bird, then it's a raven.
That's a good description.
I thought that was pretty good, and you're going to see why here in just a minute. Please, because we're charging over there.
Okay.
Hi, sweetie.
She still needs to put on some weight.
Well, I hope so, because she was skinny. She was skinny girl.
Okay. You alright? You alright?
Oh, I'm ticked off. Yeah. There you go, sweetie. How about on her back, maybe? Oh, she has been messing Turn this fan back on again. Let's see. Huh?
She's biting the towel. Good.
Oh, good. Let her bite the towel. That's fine.
Better than your finger.
Yeah.
Oh, getting bitten is just part of the job.
You want to come around over this way so you can see. She's still got a long way to go,
I
though.
know. She's getting too coiled.
Thought today we'd try her with some mice too. There we go. Alrighty. Oh, that's looking good. Oh, she says, ow, 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 ow. So, this is the area where the break was.
So there's the end of the pin.
There's the end of the pin right there. Mm-hmm.
That would be the upper arm on us.
Mm-hmm. It goes from here down through, right through here, down through here.
It's a good bird.
That's looking really good.
She's being good now. Come on.
A little hydrogen peroxide on that.
I'm not going to let you bite me.
I don't want to bite you, Ron.
The trick to holding them is to not strangle them, you know, not really to grab at all.
Right.
Just restrain from getting them into a position where they can hurt you.
Okay.
So I'm really hardly holding on at all. It's just that I'm not going to let her turn her head.
Yeah. Has she nipped you quite a bit?
She's got me a couple times, yeah.
Yeah, she got me too. But it's understandable why there would be a protest,
Well, sure.
you know?
Quieted down quite a bit, though.
Oh yeah.
Now that you're working
They're
with
very, very smart birds. And Ron's had to really work to get on her good side because she was not happy about captivity.
her. Yeah.
And so he developed a neat way of approaching her with her food. You want to tell him about it?
Yeah. Every time I feed her, I also give her a trinket.
Okay.
Because ravens like shiny things or, you know, odd little things. So, you know, they'll use them as decorations in their nests and gifts to each other. So since they have this, since they do this kind of stuff, and you know, I figured it would be something she would recognize in terms of behavior. Also, ravens are probably as bright as some primates. You know, their intelligence has been rated alongside chimpanzees.
Right.
So anything you can do to get on their good side is really valuable to lower the stress level. She likes a chin scratch, so I'm doing that.
We had one at the park that liked to follow the golfers. And when they would leave the cart, he'd go down and get their lunch bag out of the cart and carry it off.
Ooh.
And I understand in Canaan Valley they had one on their golf course that would steal golf balls. But the best thing I saw with it, steal golf balls, best thing I saw it, on Friday nights the dining room did a seafood buffet. And on Saturday morning the crows would come into the dumpsters.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because they got shrimp, clams, and fish that they go on there they get.
Classic.
Well, the ravens wouldn't come in that close to the building. What they do is they would stay about a quarter mile away and watch, and when the crows got close enough with the food from the dumpster, they'd go and take it away from them.
Nice. Oh, come on, you. Just making sure that...
The bill is so huge. I love the way the feathers come down over the top mandible there. It's really kind of cool looking. And they have neat feet.
Yeah, look at these feet. Very, very sensitive.
They're not true talons, but they're still pretty sharp.
Yeah.
She wrapped around my finger the other day, and it hurt. Pretty bird. She's starting to relax now. I can feel her legs
Yeah.
See, I'm barely hanging on. And basically, I'm controlling where they go without grabbing.
Well, she's going to get mad at me now because I'm going to re-wrap that wing.
Right.
Just a couple more days, sweetie.
I've seen several nests in the area. They usually seem to like to nest on a cliff.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't even have to be that high. I haven't seen them on a rock along the roadside, 10 or 12 feet off the ground, nesting in the crook and the rocks. And then the big one we started watching last year, and they've returned this year in Princeton, over in Mercer County. There's a pair of ravens that nest in a billboard along Route 460, which is a 4-lane highway right behind the Kroger's. And we have seen them carrying nest material. We've seen them carrying food. And last year we saw them leave the nest area there with 2 fledglings.
Cool.
How cool
Yeah.
is that?
You usually think of them as being a wilderness bird, but they can come in with people.
And up on top of a mountain somewhere,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
They're just really adaptable. I mean, brains really helps.
Yeah.
You know, they're just really...
I don't like this. I'm going to get fresh stuff. It's going to fall off of it.
Right, it's not sticking anymore.
It's not sticking. And it's big.
You can see her keel bone sticking out a little bit there. That's if you were to take your finger and put them on either side of that,
Okay.
there's not much muscle there.
Okay.
And this is because she was down on the ground
She was starving.
so long, starving. All that muscle just got absorbed. And that's what we're building back up at the same time the bone is healing. It's a good bird. You can do this.
Look, it's not pink, see? That was not my choice the first time.
No, you can't get me. No. You're not allowed to get me.
Look at it this way. You get a clean cage, you get fresh water.
Right, free food.
Free food.
Little trinkets.
Yep. So what are you going to give her today for her trinket?
I don't know. I gotta
Hey,
find...
careful.
Whoops, I was looking around.
That's what it is. Better than a knuckle.
Yeah, I don't want to get my finger in her eye. She's pretty gray eyes.
I know.
This is definitely a female. She has a brood pouch.
Oh, okay.
And pouch, not patch.
Patch.
Not a pouch.
Yeah, patch.
And
She's not a marsupial.
No.
but we also heard that the male was still there feeding.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is a unique bird. She'd been down on the ground for a while, but these people have been watching this pair evidently for years. So the way we got her was the raven just one day just walked into the woman's kitchen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like, help me.
I need help. Yeah.
You know, and so
Yeah.
it was no big deal to just pick her up and put her in a box. And she's not been too happy with that sort of part of the solution, but
Yeah.
she's going to go home.
You may have said, and I didn't hear you, but do you know about how old she might be?
She's an adult. Beyond that, we don't know.
How old are they when they become an adult?
They're usually, you mean sexually mature?
Yeah.
I'm thinking they're somewhere around 3 years old.
Okay.
I think.
Done?
I'm done.
Okay. That means no biting. I know.
You know?
Get that one. There.
Okay. Protests are allowed.
Yeah.
Let me go take a second, clean her cage.
Okay.
While you guys talk about ravens.
Okay.
So what do you know about ravens? The only ravens I've ever met when I was walking the tracks between Brooks and Sandstone,
Yeah.
and I blundered into their territory because there was a nest up in the cliffs there,
Yeah.
and they swooped down low and chased me out.
Yeah. I did that at near the park on near Pipestem Falls. I went up under a cliff to look at something, and they told me I shouldn't be there, and escorted me out of there. And you don't argue with them, like you say with that beak.
Yeah, you don't. No, I mean, they have their place. They have their. You know, we feel like we have to be advocates for all of them. See what I mean? Look.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I take my gloves off as fast as I can when I'm handling them.
Okay. Yeah.
These gloves aren't heavy, but even with the bigger birds, once you have them under control, it really pays to get rid of the gloves if you can.
Yeah.
Because you can't feel, and you can use too much force. You
Sure.
can use too little force.
Yeah.
You really can't tell what's going on, and they know.
Yeah.
Once they recognize the glove, they know they're going to get grabbed.
Right.
And they figure that out pretty quickly. So I try to get rid of the gloves when I'm handling them, even the big birds.
Yeah.
Just because once you have them under control, you can you can communicate a lot easier.
Yeah.
Tactfully. Like right now, I'm not doing anything mean to this bird. She's getting stroked.
When we hawk watch on Peters Mountain over in Monroe County, we see a lot of ravens, and it's real interesting the way they are around the larger birds, like the red-tailed hawks and the eagles. In fact, one day I was up there, I wasn't seeing any eagles at all, and then I started looking where the ravens were making noise and a lot of activity, and sure enough, I found eagles by following them.
Did they eat the young of the ravens? Is that
Oh, I'm sure they do. Yeah. And then actually, probably the raven would get into the eggs of the eagles or the hawks if they could. Yeah, they're pretty opportunistic.
Now look at her drooping. See that dropping of the head?
Yeah.
That's a submissive gesture.
How about that?
They're all about body language. These
Yeah.
all birds are like this actually. Once you get cued into, I can tell her feet are solely relaxed now. They're dropping into my hand. They're not pressing against me, they're not fighting. She just dropped her chin, which is like, okay, I'll do it. I'm not digging it, but I'll do it.
Sorry I looked away, but an owl moved into the window there.
Oh yeah, he watches. He likes to watch.
Uh-huh. Is that the one you called?
Especially with the raptors. Raptors have been hunting mammals a long time. You know, and they can read us like books.
Yeah.
They, you know, people have a little hard time at first learning. No, 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 no. I know. See? That's it. Okay, we're good. We're still good. No, I'm not going to let you get me. I'm a pro. I've been doing this a long time.
From our bird counts, we've seen that some increase in the raven population.
Really?
In the area. And it's funny because they're mainly in the east. If you look at a range map, they're in the Appalachian Mountains. You go very far east or west out of the Appalachians, you don't hardly see them. Of course, out west and up in Canada and Alaska, they're very common. But in the east, they're almost entirely in the Appalachian Mountains.
See, that tricked me because when we were first doing this, I always assumed that they were a high elevation bird, but that's not really true, is it?
No, not necessarily. We've seen them down along the rivers, the creeks.
No. You can't bite me. I'm not letting you. No. I know. I'm a real nuisance. That's a goal for us. If you can become a nuisance and not a threat,
yeah,
you're the whole thing changes.
You guys are good at it.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Another place where we encounter the ravens, when we take our household garbage to the Mercer County landfill, they're frequently in there, and at times we've seen whole families, the 2 adults and 3 or 4 young ones going in.
I think we got her in a normal posture here now. In other words, she's not laying on her back anymore.
Right.
I really like this.
Yeah.
Every time I like to get them into this position if they'll let me.
That's good.
Because it helps them relax.
Does it take longer with some of them than others?
Some of them never get it.
Get it?
Some of them are just, they don't get it. They go from being terrified to being angry.
Yeah.
Others are like, free food, friendly people, sure, whatever. I mean, some of them are like that.
Mm-hmm.
This bird here, I mean, basically we feed her, check her out, clean her cage, and leave.
Mm-hmm.
Leave her alone because we want her to stay calm. But this is one of the birds that if you put real energy into a relationship, you can get one.
Yeah.
You can really get a relationship with these animals because they're so smart. I mean, for an animal with a skull the size of a small walnut, it's really amazing.
Yeah.
There's a great book. Oh, I forgot the title of it. It blew through my head just now. It's about the neurology of birds.
Yeah.
And it's because they're descended, from the dinosaurs, which are an offshoot of reptiles.
Mm-hmm.
Their minds are physically structured much more reptilian.
Mm-hmm.
But the interconnections between the sections of their mind are hooked together the same way as ours.
Yeah.
Which means that intelligence has evolved twice.
Yeah.
And once through mammals and once through the birds.
Mm-hmm.
So their minds function the same way ours do.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, and that's why they can learn. Oops. What did Ducky do over there? Marmette, what are you doing?
I think she missed
I think he's
perch.
trying to get in here.
Bern Heinrich wrote some books on ravens. Ravens in Winter, and I think The Mind of a Raven is another one he wrote. He studied them up in New England.
Yeah. I'm going to let you go. You're going to be good. I'm not going to have to grab you again. You still have your legs. That's right.
taking it all in.
Yeah, they're really neat.
I knew a fellow on East River Mountain. He put a platform up on a pole near his house. And when he'd go to town on the way back, when he'd find roadkill rabbits and squirrels and such, he'd bring them home and throw them up on that platform. And he had ravens that would come in and eat them.
Wow.
We have a cage.
Another cage? Okay, great. Look at her. She calmed down.
Hi, Holly.
She's doing well.
Hi, sweetie.
Okay, back to the cage.
How far are we up to it? Oh, you can't see how far we're up to. A minute till Ron gets back,
All right.
and we'll just go on and shoot.
Okay.
Should have enough to. Let's drop back on. At 1%. Uh-oh. Well, Jim?
I didn't do anything.
No, I know.
I just held it.
I know. I always see that. We have a problem here that didn't charge. So, Jim, can you do it in here? Can you do some stuff in here?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I know it's not what we planned, but
That's all right.
yeah, we can just do it. Ron, can you go out and get his stuff, please, and bring it in?
Yeah.
That would be great. Thank you. This is miracles of modern technology.
Amazing.
There, let's tighten that up a little bit. So, why is it? There we go. Now it stays where we want it to.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. You told me who I am, so I don't have to do that. I've always loved birds. My parents told me that when I was a kid, other kids would come in from school dragging a kitten or a puppy, and I came in with grackles and robins. So the birds seemed to like me too. And early on, of course, I didn't have binoculars or a guidebook to the birds, and so I had ink box. So I spent a lot of time hiding in bushes and in brush piles and climbing trees and sitting on the tree limbs and watching and listening to the birds. I was fortunate that the family had a set of Compton encyclopedias at that time, and the B volume had all kinds of color photographs of the common birds. So that was a good way to learn the birds. And
Cool.
at that time, I didn't know anybody else that liked birds. None of the family paid any attention to them, so I was kind of on my own. After a while, I discovered the field guides, which help a whole lot in telling you how to look for birds, what to look for to identify them. And that's what I'll talk about while I wait. I'll show you some of the books and some of the things we have.
Yeah, and we have some books right there too.
Ron comes back.
Ah, here he comes.
Here's your stuff. Thank you, sir. Oh, also, I'll be mentioning binoculars.
Good.
Talk about how to use those. Here's what I started with. I started with the Peterson Field Guide. This is one of the prime tools getting people interested in birds and learning how to identify birds.
I'm going to shorten this stick so I can get closer to see what you're looking at, Jim.
Okay.
At least I think I was going to. Oops, there we go. Okay.
And basically, he put together a book that would help you identify birds at a distance using different characteristics. And somebody even talked about the size of the bird.